Bowie Super Coach, another outstanding part of the day. There's a slight sprinkle, dawn is breaking, absolutely love the tranquility, the peace, the harmony. I'm coming to you today because I'm so fortunate every day to receive beautiful messages from people that either listen to my podcast or I've coached in the past that say to me, I use this process or I implemented this dialogue, or some of the coachings and teachings that you help me with have resulted in listings and sales, which is my currency. Because let's face it, coaching is not about high level fluffy content. It's about, will I learn something that will help me list and sell more property? Full stop, end of story. That's all it comes down to. So granular coaching, in the field, pragmatic recommendations that can either provide you a means to an end, which is prospecting, database management, and face-to-face appointments, or the end goal itself, which is actual listings and sales. So I love the feedback. Thank you so much. I'm blessed, I'm grateful, and it keeps me doing what I'm doing. However, I thought I'd share that there's some very sad and unfortunate people who write messages sometimes that are quite vitriol and quite offensive, and these people I have no idea what motivates them. But then when I think about it, it's pain and insecurity, because I've developed this standard response now, which I'd love everyone to implement if they ever receive these messages. And I got to tell you what my strike rate with it is. So I've memorized it, but it's actually in my notes section and I have to copy and paste it. So if someone sends a vitriol type of message or just something that's just, very offensive, which luckily, thank God, my inner citadel and my emotional health is quite fortified. So apart from chuckling, I actually don't give it much energy or oxygen. But the standard response, it reads something like this: I'm flattered by your fascination and obsession in me. It seems like you have a lot to say. I find these type of conversations are best had in person. This is my office address. What time suits you first thing tomorrow morning, 9 or 10 a.m., so we can catch up and you can deliver this same message face to face. Out of quite a few, I can tell you now, not one has ever responded. So I always give it 24, 48 hours, and then I always respond and say exactly what I thought, another gutless keyboard warrior, and then I block and delete, and literally and metaphorically and mentally, I block and delete it. So what would I do if one of these people did respond and say, great, I'll catch up with you the next day? I would actually sit them down and say, how can I help you? And what is the pain point? What's your blockage? What's your struggle? Because it's not my duty to take on their pain. Just because they're propelling it towards me, there's something that's very sad, hurtful, and painful that's occurring in their lives. And again, protecting your inner citadel is critical. I could easily label that as offensive, and some of the words they use, I got to tell you, is crazy, and some of the threats almost that people use is crazy. So it's a metaphor for all of us that things are not going to go always your way. Out of 199 people appreciate my content, appreciate my altruistic attitude towards the industry, which is to leave it a better place than I found it, which might sound cliche, but that's my legacy and that's what I'm focused on. There might always be one person who doesn't appreciate it. However, does that mean I've got to capitulate? Does that mean I have to deviate from who I am? And does that mean I have to change who I am? Absolutely not. And I think this can happen with agents where they get derailed. They've got a process that they know works, whether it's listing, prospecting, negotiating, vendor management. One deal falls over, or one particular client is unappreciative, even though you've done everything genuinely possible to help that person, and suddenly they can capitulate, can start thinking to themselves, I need to completely unpack my business and redesign it. No. So my metaphor is, just because one person out of 100 may not be appreciative, then you as an agent stick to your process. If you know it works the majority of the time, great. If you need to take on constructive feedback, I get it. And that's when you can improve your business, and that's when you can make incremental changes. But if it comes from a hurtful place, from someone who is completely irrational and is completely off purpose, then stick to your process. But always be open to learning, always be open to growing. And of course, I'm the first person, if I receive any constructive feedback around how I can better serve, absolutely, I will take it on. But if someone's not prepared to meet face to face and actually have that discussion with me, then I will treat that person as someone who's irrational and someone who's in a lot of pain. In saying that, if they did, I'd be very happy to talk them through it and understand why they're in that pain and actually try and help them. So I will never deviate who I am. If some people want to take the piss and take advantage of my generosity, then that's their problem. It's actually none of my business, because the majority of people are appreciative, grateful, and respectful. Have a great day. God bless, and live with virtue.